All right, so first of all, how you doing, folks? It is Wednesday, the 17th of September. And it is 12:03. It's lunchtime. And we got to talk about calories, low fat, and food volume again, I'm afraid, today, because I'm going to break it down for you. Low fat, just by cutting the fat out, increases food volume because fat is more calorie dense, right? So, like, say hypothetically you're eating cheeseburgers that weighing around 200 and we'll just say 260, a good round number like that. So let's see 260 for some cheeseburgers. 260 times 3 equals 780, which does put you at a calorie deficit depending on where you land. But if you keep adding cheeseburgers, because 3 is not going to sustain you for a very long time. Yeah, that's why food volume is important. Yeah, it's going to. This is not to belittle. This is to teach you a little something. Because none of us are ever too old to learn, right? So I'm going to make me some chili beans in the crock pot. But to get that started, I've got my meat already cooked up here. Y'all know I like to heat some things up before I put it into the crock pot to get it started a little bit. I got some crushed tomatoes here. Now I've done combined all of this up in my head, and see, I can put a little water in there and get use of the whole can of crushed tomatoes because we're gonna do these like chili beans style, you know. Got our lean protein measured out in there. And I'm just going to add 1 can for now because the other can's going to go into the crock pot with all of the vegetables. Look at that. So that is it's going to be our chili for the chili beans here. And as y'all know, I've been eating that with oatmeal. Which is, totally not necessary, but it adds a little volume to it. But today we're going to skip on the oatmeal. I got other ideas today. Because we want to keep things, low fat, because low fat equals a higher food volume at a calorie deficit all by itself without even trying to be. Which is the important message here that seems to be getting missed by some. Now, I don't like the whole incorrect tone that has been used with me lately. So, let me use, knowledge, common sense, and I'm not the most knowledgeable or the smartest person out there. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. But I got a lot of common sense, and I know food volume at a calorie deficit equals better food volume, better satiety, all of that stuff. Alright, so I got the crock pot wiped down here. getting it ready to go. I'm going to cut it on high because I want this to cook relatively fast. So basically why I'm using canned and frozen vegetables today is so I can keep up with calorie amounts and discuss food volume. And it's easier for me to do that way because I don't have any scale weights and all this has been pre-done for me. Even though, you know, I'm pretty calorie conscious and I could, you know, do my own onion and pretty much, you know, figure it out. But yeah, I got some frozen onion here. And we're just going to get it all in there. Let me get in that bag right there. All of it don't want to come out. Just easier for us to figure out the calorie amounts of everything going into this. I got some mushrooms there because, man, food volume matters. Now, traditionally, chili beans don't have mushrooms in them. You know, they're just basically the beans, the chili, maybe some onions and peppers. But since we're discussing food volume today, and it needs to be talked about, again, at a calorie deficit, mind you. You know, if calories are your thing, then this definitely should be part of your message. So that right there is just more onions and red, yellow, and green peppers because, you know, food volume matters. Food volume matters. Let me show you. I got all this wrote down and we're going to break it down in a minute. Because that is our totals right there. 1,784 for everything I got sitting out on this counter. Except for one thing that I decided to add since I seen... Yeah, because I'm a big guy. Look, I can have upwards of 3,000 calories a day and at my activity level still drop weight, you know. The reason I hadn't is probably because I've been, you know, going a little too hard on the oatmeal, you know, when I add it to the chili beans, you know. So I'll try harder not to do that this time. But, you know, I got some navy beans going in there. They are thick. Navy beans are thick in the can. Navy beans, man. Food volume. Low fat, very low. All this is very low fat. Some of it's just got no fat at all. And then your beans are, yeah, beans are zero total fat as well. If there's any fat coming out of this at all, it's in that very lean 99% lean meat there. So that is a lot of times why I add a little oatmeal in there. It does give me a little bit of fat from the oatmeal. And I got some black beans here as well. They dump out a lot easier, so I got some. I like that the navy beans and the black beans are kind of, you know, similar in size there. See, we're getting a crock pot full, right? We're only at 17,000 calories in this crock pot. If I can have upwards of 3,000, I can definitely have my oatmeal in there and be just fine. See what I'm saying? Food volume matters. corn. Because, you know, if you're going to go by just calorie deficit, and, you know, you can eat Snicker candy bars at a calorie deficit and lose weight. I mean, that's just the way it is, man. Calories is basically a form of restriction, you know. So if you're eating at a high volume at a deficit all the time, oh yeah, put a little bit of that corn in there. Just mix everything in there, man. It's like I'm safe eating the whole pot. I mean, the whole pot. Look. I mean, basically it's turning more into a vegetable soup with beans. So I got this other can of tomato here. We're gonna add. I might add it into the hot there, let it heat up. Or maybe not. Shoot, I just dump it on in there. It ain't gonna matter. Just like before, I'm gonna make sure I get all of that by adding a little water. Shaking that up. This is very inexpensive too. Very inexpensive meal at a high volume, right? Alright, so I did not account for these tomatoes. And sometimes I like to overestimate, like if it's got 3.5 servings in there for 25 calories for 3.5. I kind of overestimate it. Instead of 25, I just go with 30. So let's see here. So 3 at 30 would be 90 more calories to, let's see. Let's add those. Let's add 90 calories to this for these tomatoes, because I'm using these because they got the chili flavor already in them to add to it. So 1,784 plus 90 equals. Alright, so if I'm a 3,000 calorie a day eater, I'm only at 1,874 calories. And that's just in this entire pot, which I will not be eating in a day. So every bowl that I eat today, I am going to be safe with a little oatmeal in there. Somebody sent me some fat-free cornbread that they had found, and I'm gonna have to go look for that brand, that variety. But yeah, 1,874. So let's change that. 1,874. 1,874 calories right there. Since we're writing things down, and you know, now you're making me work. Mr. McGee, don't make me work. You won't like me when I work. so here's the chili bean. These are just diced tomatoes. Chili ready diced tomatoes. They're just a little more chunkier than the crushed. So really you don't have to rinse them out and do the can thing with those. But hey, listen. We ain't even reached our calorie limit yet. And we got a crock pot full of food here. Tell me down in the comments, do you think food volume matters? I mean, seriously, do you think... I'm probably fogging y'all up. Do y'all think that food volume matters? I mean, look at the food volume now. Now, if this was a high-fat diet, this volume would be a lot less. The volume will be a lot less. Especially if you're considering calorie deficit. The food volume would be a lot less. I mean, don't shoot the messenger boy here, but $700 worth of, 700 calories worth of cheeseburgers. You times that by 2, and you're getting up around, 1,500 calories for the cheeseburgers, which are still not going to satiate you but for so long before you have to add other things to them. This is the only reason I talk about food volume, because that is what matters to me. Food volume. Now, of course, I've already eaten today, so I have to subtract those amount of calories from my day. If I was calorie tracking, I ain't even doing that. What I'm saying is, most of the time, I fall into a calorie deficit by default. By default, not even counting. And the reason I do is because the food volume is so high and so satiating that a lot of times I'll eat at a deficit and not even realize it. That is when I am trying to cut. And right now I am trying to cut. Because I feel like, even though I haven't been directly challenged, I feel like I've been challenged to prove myself. And how I plan to do that is to be lean by Halloween. Lean by Halloween. That is the goal. I'm already at 7,000 steps, so yeah, I went to Walmart and I walked, in there for maybe 45 minutes. 45-minute walk in there. And that was just walking the parking lot. Walking from, it's a super center, so I walked from the parking lot, on the grocery side, and I walked all the way down to the garden center on purpose just to get those extra steps in. And when I got in there, I weaved in and out of aisles, got a bunch of steps in. I done some good walking in there. punched in a bunch of steps. So I'll hit 10,000 easily. You know, I could go out there while this soup is cooking and hit that 10,000 no problem before it gets good and done for me to eat. It's only 12:16. It's like 16 minutes after noon. Tell me what y'all think down in the comments. Does food volume matter when it comes to weight loss? You know, especially if you're thinking about a calorie deficit. I mean, food volume and satiation is what the message is. Lean by Halloween. Oh yeah. I'm bringing my A game for that one. Because, yeah. We will see. We will see. We will just see. I told y'all a few weeks ago I smelled a rumble, and now we got one. Lean by Halloween. It's on like Donkey Kong. Tell me what you think down in the comments. And that is all I got for this video, folks. So until the next one, you folks have a good one.